Well, I'm on my way to Bowens Island in South Carolina. There's quite a nice story behind why I'm here, really, because there's this journalist in Philadelphia who wrote me a letter where she said one of the best kept secrets, seafood secrets in the whole of the eastern seaboard was Bowens Island. And I'd always wanted to find a seafood shack, you know, with sort of sun-bleached bare boards and just nothing to eat but simple shrimp, lobster, oysters, clams on open tables, maybe no tablecloths, and just throw the oysters into a bucket when you'd finished them. So I'm hopeful. Well, this is it, the ultimate oyster experience. They've been cooking oysters like this since the last war, and it hasn't changed a bit. The Bowen family that own the island, well, they just take the oysters, put them on a hot piece of steel, and cover them with a wet burlap, I love that word, American word, burlap sack, to trap the steam. Anyway, they steam them for about 10 minutes, and then they just shovel them into the centre of a table. And it's just totally classless. There's lawyers, there's lovers, there's politicians. Everybody mixes together. Their link is the consuming love of oysters. It's not to everybody's taste, this way of eating, but honestly, it is to mine. I mean, just sitting here, eating these oysters just straight out of the creek, just over there, and these sort of nice little dipping sauces. What more could you want? This is what I've really dreamed of finding. And, you know, I'm sort of thinking I can go all the way around the world. I can go, as I do, go in the best restaurants in the world. But I bet you this is the place I'll remember best.
And there's another one. Hey. I'm glad I'm not picking these things anymore.
Now, there's two things that I'll remember about the cooking of South Carolina. First, shrimp. Second, oysters. And here the oysters grow everywhere, and the locals have a right-in law to pick them when they're in season. They grow like stalagmites, sort of brittle flowers amongst the mud. There's so many of them, they just grow together in big clumps. Oysters are a main part of South Carolina gumbo. Gumbo's not just from New Orleans. Here they have a special way of making it. First of all, you need to make a really good stock. Vegetables like carrot, onion, parsley, shrimp peelings, crab shells, and plenty of chicken wings. Fresh bay leaves, celery, I forgot to mention that, plenty of that. Simmer for about 40 minutes to make a really good stock. I may not be a gumbo aficionado, but the secret I know is a really good stock. Now for the gumbo, and first of all the roux. And what could be better for making a roux than bacon grease? Okay, this is real South bacon grease. It doesn't taste like lard, it tastes a lot finer. Beautiful stuff. Much more interesting than butter, but if you haven't got good bacon grease for your gumbo, use butter. Then some flour, okay? In we go with the flour. Just stir that around, and you have to cook it out very, very gently. So what you're looking for is quite a lot of colour. In fact, funnily enough, you have to get such colour in it that Escoffier, the famous French chef, saw a roux made for a gumbo and just despaired because he just thought it was going to be burnt and frightful. But the French way of cooking is all refined and delicate, whereas this sort of food, well, it's got chilli in it, it's got bell pepper, loads of garlic, lots of gutsy flavour, cooked out to a good light brown colour is just what you need. And now to add some good smoked bacon. Look at that. Lovely thick lardons of local bacon, no water in there, good dry bacon, slightly running in this hot sun where I'm cooking today. So in that goes. Keep stirring quite sort of regularly now, but once you get other ingredients in there, you'll pass the danger point of burning the roux. So just stir that in, and now the trilogy, the bell pepper onion, and they're called Vidalia onions. They're really sweet, not at all sharp, ideal for salads, beautiful onions, grown round here in fact, and celery. So stir that in with the bacon and just let it cook down till the onions are nice and translucent. Now to add the most important thing in the whole gumbo, the okra. So that goes straight in to the pot. We just cook that for about a minute or so. Next we've got some tomatoes. These are nice local beef tomatoes, but if you've got them, you know those vine tomatoes, they're really good in a dish like this. No problem out here using fresh tomatoes. They've got so much flavour. There's about 3 or 4 tomatoes worth of chopped tomato going there now. And now some chilli. Now these are jalapeno chilies, which are actually a bit hotter than the ones we have at home. So I'm not going to put all these in. I'll put about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 slices, I think, because I haven't taken the seeds out. And now some herbs, parsley, bay leaf and thyme. Just stir those in a bit, and now for that lovely stock that I made. And that's now beginning to look like the final dish, which is actually, particularly here in Carolina, gumbo's more of a sort of soup with lots of bits in it than a stew. But next we put the bits in that really do matter. And this is where you do whatever you want. Now I'm, of course, going to put seafood in here, but I'm going to put some chicken in as well. I'm going to put crab, clams, oysters. Anyway, on with the clams now. These are called little neck clams, so just put a couple of good handfuls of those. Just stir those in for about 2 or 3 minutes before we add any other ingredients. Now these won't take at all long to cook, because they're all small bits of delicious sweet seafood, and this is really the making of this dish, I think. And there's some good shrimp, and well, the shrimping season's just starting around here, so they're really good fresh local ones. Now just look at that. I mean, that really is beginning to look something like it's supposed to be. All that seafood in there, it's a bit like a bouillabaisse, and it's the same sort of dish. Absolutely exquisite. And now for some final ingredients which need no cooking, really, just like a minute, no more than that. First, some oysters. They're beautiful oysters, and look at all that juice there, which is going to go in as well because it's nice and salty. Now then, look at this back crab meat. I know we've already put whole crab in, but some meat is a very good idea too, so just add a few good dollops of that. Just a few chopped spring onions near the end. They'll cook out a little bit, but they'll still have a bit of crunch and a little bit of freshness. So in they go. And finally, some more greenness, just to finish the dish off, some chopped parsley. All that chopped parsley straight in. And that's it. Let's try it poured over some rice. It's fantastic.